Hi,
Hey, how are we all
hey,
doing?
I'm doing
Good to
good. How
see.
are you, Simon?
Yeah, I'm good. It's nice to yeah, it's nice to just come on and chill out. And it's been a long week, lots of
Yeah.
driving and stuff this week. So yeah,
Oh, have you been
and
working away?
yeah, in fact, tomorrow is my first day working in Nottingham. So yeah, I've been
Oh,
everywhere this week, but it happens sometimes like that. I've had a new starter at work that I've been inducted in, and so it was just not, and I got home tonight because I thought I'll walk home because it was really nice. I don't know what it's like in Scotland today, but it's really sunny, blue skies. I thought, yeah, I'll walk home. So I didn't want a heavy bag. I locked everything at the cabinet at work. Got home, sat down, made a cup of tea, and I thought, shit, I need my laptop for tonight. So I had to walk all the way
oh,
back to work
oh, you're joking.
and pick my. I've done it before. I've done this before, and pick my laptop up. So
Oh,
I just had a horrible thought as well. No,
oh.
it's okay. I just need to plug in because I'm not sure on battery. There we are. That's good.
Sorted.
Good. Sorted. So, how are you anyway?
Yeah, I'm really good. I've been off this week, so I have.
Have you?
So it was Sandy's birthday yesterday, so we took the week off. We always take the week off when it's each other's birthday. So we've had a lovely week. It's been
Oh,
nice. I
you
was
done anything?
yeah, we've I mean, the diet is completely scuppered. Let's start with that. Slimming World did not happen this week, but that's all right because we kind of knew that would be the case. So yeah, just been kind of enjoying wee meals out and stuff. I had booked a really nice like dinner and drinks at a really nice rooftop bar in Glasgow city centre for yesterday for his actual birthday. So that was lovely. It was something a wee bit different. And food was beautiful. The drinks were lovely. Uh, Today we just decided. I'm going to tell you what we did first before I tell you what my ailment is. So we went bowling, um, which was great fun. I actually posted on my story because I won the first game, which never happens. um,
Yeah.
but my hand and my wrist are absolutely killing me. I swear to God, see, even like riffle shuffling a deck of cards, it's like I've lost power in my hands. Obviously, I can't say, yeah, oh, we've had a really good week off. I've got a really sore wrist without telling you first what it is that, do you know what I mean, that we'd gone bowling because all you filthy minds in the chat, your minds will be going mental. Um,
That's why I stopped doing. That's why I don't go bowling anymore. Last couple of times I went, I was so my hands and wrists were so sore.
yeah.
They're really heavy, aren't they? And they take the toll as you get older. So if you like this now in your 30s, wait till you're my age.
No, it was really good. It was just fun. It's just fun to do something a bit different. Um, but yeah, so I've had a great wee week, and I'm on the I've got myself a wee alcoholic beverage for tonight, Simon. Got a
Have you?
peach schnapps and lemonade.
Oh, cool.
Um,
Well,
yeah.
if David Wilson's in, he'll say that this is whiskey in disguise. He doesn't believe that this is tea. But I'm still on the Yorkshire Rose. I absolutely love it. I'm gonna have to see if they sell it online because you can only get it in York. It's the Bird and Blend range, but each shop has a particular one as well as all the others.
Right, very
And it's
nice.
one of the nicest ones I've had. It's got rhubarb in it. It's just really nice. So say
Nice.
hello to people.
Yeah, let's do.
So let me scroll. There's lots of people chatting, which is lovely. So you're the first one in, saying hey to
Yeah,
everyone.
yeah.
Um, but you appear twice again, one where you're
It's
a mod
because
and one
I
where you're not a mod.
it's because I did it in the StreamYard chat, so it
Yeah,
puts the chat in both our channels. So we see it twice on the StreamYard chat, so we do.
yeah.
But the reason I did that is to prove that I was here in time for once. Um,
No, I just seen a message from you saying I'm a little bit early for once. I didn't see that before we met hooked up. Uh, And then the lovely Giselle is in. Hi, Giselle. And then followed by Sandra. Hi,
So,
Sandra. Oh, there's
hi.
David. David's here. So nice to see you, David. And
Elaine.
yeah, hi, Lane. Oh, I'm out at the mo, or I'd have joined you discussing one of my faves. Hope you're all keeping well. Well, if you watch this back, nice to see you, Elaine.
Yeah.
Callers here. Lots of love for the
Was.
Shadowland tarot, which is great, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a nice deck.
Yeah, and then we've got Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl. How are you? Hope you're feeling better. Cheryl's been
Oh,
poorly this
Cheryl.
week with COVID. So,
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
yeah, so hope it. She thought it was flu the other day when we spoke. I saw her email earlier, confirming it was COVID. So hope you're feeling better. And then we've got Anne. Hi, Anne. Golden. Nice to see you.
Golden.
Gray Hayes. I always forget Gray Hayes' name. What's his name?
Greg.
Greg. That's it. I should remember that the first three letters are the same. So.
Yeah, I just changed the Y to a G. That's how I remember it. Hi, Greg.
Yeah, I'll have to try and remember. And then lovely Deanne. Hi, Deanne. Nice to see you.
Jan.
Midnight Unicorn. Hello.
Hey.
And Sonique. Hi, Sonique. Simon's just mentioned it. I couldn't remember. I'm not quite sure what that is. And then we've got Magdalena M. Hi, M. Nice to see you. If you are vintage, Simon, I am prehistoric. This is a vintage 1970. It's a vintage year, you see. So, as well as being a brilliant year. We have
Lily Rose.
yeah, my chat has just jumped. I can't remember where I was up to. It was about vintage, wasn't it, and prehistoric.
Yeah.
So,
Love
Maharet.
Light Tarot.
Yeah, Gerald's here. Hi, Gerald. Rolf. Hi, Rolf. Star and Flurry. Lots of people in tonight. There's lots of love for the Shadowland.
Yeah.
Love with Light Tarot. Haven't seen Shadowland, so that's cool. And Cheryl's trying to get better for Saturday.
Yeah, I hope you feel better soon,
Why is
Cheryl.
this
That's
not
shitty that you've ended up with that.
Intuitive Renee? Nice to see you. I think I haven't missed anybody, but it keeps jumping all the time. It's really annoying. That's why I prefer it on my iPad really, because you can scroll it much easier than with a wheel mouse. So, why are you laughing?
A wheel mouse. I don't know. It just made me laugh for some reason.
I've got one of them. One of those ones with a wheel on it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, same.
And they're not the
Yeah, that's what
best
I've
thing,
got to.
have you?
Yeah.
I have got an actual Apple mouse, but it's on my desk at work. I should really bring it home. But
Right.
anyway, shall we? I think everybody knows what we're going to be talking about tonight because we've just been mentioning it in the chats. We are, of course, talking about Shadowland.
Shadowlands Tarot. I'll quickly run through some of the production information. So it was released in 2020, which means that we've had it for about 4 years. I think we both got it around about the time it came out, didn't we? So
yeah, I got it in the April, but I was checking earlier because it was right at the beginning of lockdown, wasn't it? And I just said something like, "Finally, I know everybody's received this, and bar me, it seems. So I don't know when it came out for everybody else, but it was one of those decks that just, I think it was because of shipments and everything going into chaos around the March, April of 2020 that it felt like. but I was completely locked in here on my own. So this deck was like a, oh, I've got something that I can really have time to get to know. Do you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah. This was one of the first decks that you guys did on the Tarot Times, wasn't it?
I can't remember. Possibly
Think it
because we
was.
started that. When did we start that? I can't remember when we started that. Oh, well, possibly, but I thought Tarot Times was after lockdown because
Mm,
me, Elle, Sandra, and Becca was together, which we couldn't have been unless it was before lockdown. I don't know. What is time?
yeah, I know exactly. We digress. Eh?
Yeah,
So the creator and the artist of this deck is Monica Badursky. You can follow Monica on YouTube. She's got some videos up, so she has, and she's quite quirky and quite funny. Not unlike the deck, actually. That's exactly the words that I've written to describe the deck. Um, but definitely give her a wee follow and check out some of her content. Um, the publisher of the deck is Red Feather. So it's a kind of an arm of Schiffer. Um, in terms of the production, the deck, let me turn on. It's just gotten dark here all of a sudden, so it has. I'm going to turn on this light. Um, so you've got like kind of the hards, kind of a magnetic flip box, cardboard inset, cards sit in there, and then the book sits on top. I know lots of people don't really particularly enjoy these cardboard insets. I don't know, it does the job for me. Um, and yeah, the book is fantastic. The book is a really well done book. See, even if you weren't that big on the cards, I think this is worth it just for the book alone. I'm going to put that out there because the information that you get on the cards, which is open randomly like the hangman there, but it describes the artwork on the deck. We get some keywords, we get some kind of a shadow keywords, we get a big like kind of a breakdown of the card and the interpretation, the message that it has. And then there's some bullet points to reflect on. So it really kind of gives you a lot and makes you actually think about, the how you're interpreting it. And with the reflections, I think it encourages us to come up with our own, what the card means for us, which
yeah,
is really good. So it is. And it's not just that, it's like there's, lots of kind of general information. There's quite a few spreads as well, which is nice. And there's even like these pages where you've got these kind of at a glance, kind of like meanings, which I don't think that you could fault this book at all. It's got the you'd have seen it's got the color images of the cards as well. So for me, the book ticks all the boxes, um, and there you can see some of the spreads that it's got. Um, so yeah, that's the book. And then the cards, size wise, I want to say they're a wee bit smaller than your standard. Yeah, like about the same height,
slightly.
but a little bit less broad. Can you see
Mm,
that? Maybe if I turn it around, actually see it a bit better. So
yeah,
they're at more or less a standard tarot size. So if you can if you're used to managing tarot sized cards, then this deck won't be an issue for you. It's got this gold gilding, um, which I know is a bit kind of overdone now, but what I would say is, so far as I remember, this was one of in terms of mass market anyway, I think this was one of the first decks that really did the whole gilding thing. I might be way off there, but it certainly it wasn't overdone at the time when this came out. This was a nice addition. This was like a nice addition to the deck. As you can see, because I'm a riffle shuffler, my gilding is, well, do you know something? It's actually not too bad. It's held up really, really well. But definitely you can see it's scratched and all that. So just don't riffle shuffle your deck if you don't like that. And in terms of the stock. It's really thick card stock, and it's got this kind of a matte satin type finish to it. So it's it's very similar to if you've got the second edition of the Mary L. That's more or less the card stock that we're dealing with here. So yeah, nice and thick. It's a chunky deck, which does make it a wee bit difficult on the hands if you're riffle shuffling. But yeah, other than that, I think it's a top quality product.
Yeah. So I can remember at the time, this was like, for me, from what I can recall, this was the game changer deck for mass market becoming more like indie. And I remember everybody saying at the time, because Schiffer as well was always known for that big glossy cardstock, like Mary L, like Bonefire, like their version of the Guy in Tarot. You know, everybody was like, "Oh, I hate Schiffer." You know, great big glossy cards, over the top borders, and that sort of thing. And then they brought this out, and we was like, "Oh wow, this is beautifully gilded, matte cardstock, borderless, tarot sized." The only thing I would say that, and I don't know if this is the same with yours, but I love this deck so much that I bought 2 copies. I bought one and then I thought I've got to have a backup for this in case anything happens to it. And I keep one in this beautiful pouch that Anne Fort made, and she made it specifically for Shadowland in yellow and black, and I love it. But what I noticed was, and this one has got a little, do you see the gilding's coming off as well? That's fine, I don't mind that. But there's like the deck is bowed a little bit.
Yeah.
So now I've just dropped these because this one is still in the band. It's never been used, so it's not in order. Because I don't know if you saw while you was talking, I had to pick them up off the floor. But this has never been used, and this is also bowed. So I think it's just a design with having this particular card stock that there is a bit of bowing that happens with it, which it depends how picky you are, but it's not as bad as something like the Crystal Unicorn Tarot, which when that came, I was just so disappointed. It was a lot of money. It was independently produced, and I had to ship it from overseas. And when it came, it was like a banana. I was like, "What's that all about?" And so much so, I've never used the deck because I just thought, yeah.
Yeah, the bow is definitely a thing with this. So I'm a riffle shuffler, so the bow on mine is probably worse than yours. So because I've like signaled out cards that are, I'm going to talk about my favourites. I've got like these are like back to back basically, right? So if I do this and pinch the end together,
that's a good way to show it. Actually,
that's what the bow is like. So it is. So
yeah.
If you do not like decks being bowed, this is going to bug the tits off you. So it is.
Yeah.
I quite like it because it reminds me of my very first tarot deck. My very first tarot deck that I had, I remember that it was really bowed because I used to riffle shuffle it all the time.
Right.
So decks being bowed, like having that kind of a bow in them when I'm shuffling, like I don't know, it gives me a kind of a nostalgic type feeling. So I quite like it, but I can appreciate that not everyone does.
Yeah. And then I was just going to say as well, the book, I agree with you, Chris. I think it's absolutely fantastic. It is one of the best companion guidebooks. It's up there for me with like Everyday Enchantment or Phantasmagoria. I just think it's so good. I always appreciate anyway when, especially with quirky decks, which I think this is, when the artist takes time, because with Monica as well, all of her work, she does everything, doesn't she? She does collaborate, she does the artwork, she does the writing, and I don't know where she finds time. You know, she's not long just brought out Awakening Tarot, and that book is exceptional as well. But she takes time to describe the scene in the card. She also tells you the journey with Shadowland of, having just come through, everything that's happened with the Sun card, we now find ourselves, at Judgment, etc. So it gives you that continuation as well as all the stuff that you mentioned. I guess, well, we'll come on to how we work with it, but because it's the Shadowland as well, I think people automatically just think, oh, it's a shadow deck. And she does refer to the shadow aspect in the book, but I just think for me, it's more of an all-rounder than just a shadow deck. I know it's got a dark kind of, but I'm not somebody that always thinks that just because the deck is dark as well, it's good for shadow work. For me, it's something that gets in deep and just shines a light, on exposing that shadow. But I don't know. What's your thoughts around that?
See, to be honest, to me, any tarot deck is for shadow work. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what we're doing with the tarot. It's a mirror to ourselves. It's to let us have those deep conversations with ourselves that maybe just thinking in your head, you're not objective enough to. Do you know what I mean? The tarot brings that
Yeah,
objectivity into it. So to me, tarot kind of is shadow work in and of itself. I actually don't find this to be a dark deck. To be honest, I find this more kind of a quirky and humorous. Um, I think it maybe has kind of maybe it is dark, but it approaches the dark stuff in a funny way. Do you know what I mean? Um, and to be honest, when we are approaching that shadow stuff, I don't know about you, Simon. For me personally, I'm not someone who likes to kind of go into the dark room with a single lamp, but like I, that to me, that's not how I deal with shadow work. I deal with shadow work by probably through humor a lot. Do you know what I mean? Through taking the piss out of myself. Maybe that's a bit of a Glasgow thing, to be honest with you. We take the piss out of everyone, particularly ourselves.
yeah,
Um, but that is how, to me, that's how shadow work works. So I think this deck is actually really good for that.
yeah. I mean, I do. I do agree with what you're saying. At the tarot, if someone's got one tarot deck, then they can do every type of work with it, can't they? I do think certain genres or styles might lend themselves more. So, if you've got a deck that's all fluffy and what we call rainbows and unicorns and all that, and people just see it more, they'll do a single card pull at the beginning of the day, and it's more of an affirmation, something like a positive spin for the day. Then you're not really going in and doing some deep stuff, but you can, and for me, I remember the first time I saw Deviant Moon and Nicoletta Ciccoli's deck. Those images really took me back to a place, um, in my early informative, those years where I was, that you kind of push down and put lids on and get on with your life, and the layers build up, but it's still there at the core. So certain decks can help me get to that place, but that wouldn't be the same for everybody. It's
mm,
it's a very personal thing.
yeah.
But I mentioned it because it's Shadowland Tarot, and people at the time, everybody that was reviewing this deck was saying, "Oh, this deck will be great for shadow work." And because she puts the shadow aspect in, she only gives it a sentence, really. In the book, she will say there's a bit for shadow work. Um,
Mhm.
I just, for me, I've never particularly used it for shadow work, other than it's for me, it's more of an all rounder.
Okay, fair enough.
Tyler says, "Are you dissing my fuzzy unicorn deck, Simon?" No, nothing wrong with unicorns. Much.
Unicorn is the national animal of Scotland, I'll have you know.
Is it? Oh, well, then we're not
Yeah.
going to diss it. We're
No.
not going to diss it.
We love a good unicorn. We've got them just jumping about our gardens up here.
Oh, they are. Shadowlands has a quirk, but without rainbows. I think there is a rainbow in one of the cards. Yeah, so cool. So you use it or kind of as an all-rounder as well?
Yeah, all rounder. It's a nice deck for kind of a Samhain time, Samhain, Halloween. It's a nice deck for kind of a Halloween time for me. I think
Yeah,
it kind of lends itself where it has that vibe about it. But yeah, it's an all rounder, and it gives quite poignant readings I've found.
yeah,
Some of the cards, particularly some of the images in the minors, are quite thought provoking. So yeah, it's a good all rounder with a wee Halloweeny twist.
yeah. And there's a lot of humour, like you say. It's got
Yeah,
dark humour. We did this in a previous one as well, and I think it's really good to get an idea of people in the room. So firstly, can you just put yes or no if you've got the deck? So just let us know if this is a deck you've got. Just put yes or no, and that will give us an idea. Because very often, I saw early on people saying, "Never heard of this deck," or "I've not seen this deck," or "Don't have it," or be interesting to know. So Giselle's got it, and Sandra's got it so far. Colour and Grey Haze. Oh, lots of yeses. There's no. Oh, the Golden hasn't got it. Star and Flurry's got it. Vintage Moon has got it. Midnight Unicorn has got it. Kathy hasn't.
Kathy's not.
Sonique has. Sorry.
I was just at the exact same time as you. Kathy's not. Neither's Rolf.
Yeah. Trisha has. David's in Scotland, sees unicorns all the time on public buildings. There's one in the British coat of arms too. Yes, there is.
Yeah, that's why.
And Wales have got dragons, haven't they? So,
Yeah,
yeah. So a lot of people actually in the chat have got it. So I guess the next question is, Chris and I was talking about how we use it. How those of you who have got it, do you use it for a specific purpose, like shadow work or inner child work, or as an all rounder? So you can either put shadow work, inner child work, all rounder, or if there is something specific that you use it for, pop that as well. That'd be good. Just to get an idea of how people in the room have worked with the deck over the last 4 years. I couldn't believe it was 4 years. I thought it was about three because Chris and I have a kind of for Throwback Thursday, we want decks to be at least 3 years old for it to kind of constitute a bit of a
yeah,
throwback. And I was thinking today, is it 3 years already? And I thought it must be because we want to come up with it.
yeah. It's copyright
Um,
2020, I'm sure.
yeah, well, I reviewed it in April 2020.
There you go.
All rounder for Vintage Moon, all rounder for Sandra, all rounder for Midnight Unicorn, reflection questions and journaling for Sunny. That's a good thing to use it for. I currently use the Cult Tarot. My first tarot deck all year. Have you just bought it, Radiant? Colour all rounder for Star and Flurry. For humour for Giselle. If you take yourself too seriously, that's good. And Nancy, hello Nancy. Nancy says, "I love this deck. It makes me smile. Makes me smile too." All rounder for Tricia. Oh, that's good. Yeah, readings for nephews and nieces. I do think it's got a kind of a youthful spirit.
Yeah, the art is quite kind of it wouldn't be out of place on a like kids book.
Yeah, yeah. First deck I ever got monikers was what became later Shadowland Lenormand, but it was called House of Gosh,
Yeah.
what was it called? House of
House of
Shadows.
Shadows. That's
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
uh,
I've got it. Um, yeah, it's great.
yeah. There's a
Oh,
but it's out
first
now
throwback
as
I ever
Shadowland
purchased.
Lenormand, isn't it? And it's in colour, is that right?
Sorry?
Sorry, I was saying it's out now as the Shadowland Lenormand, and it's like
Yeah,
where this is in black and white. I think the Shadowland Lenormand is in colour. Is that
yeah.
right?
She replicated the cars, but she redrew them
Right,
for Shadowland Lenormand because I thought perhaps it's just a coloured in version, but then when you do a side by side, you can see the redrawing.
right,
Um,
okay.
Vintage Moon says they look sweet to me, not shadowy or dark. Yeah, and Greg's never used it, to be honest. Another acquisition that was admired then shelved, but maybe I'll give it an airing and a dusting. That's the whole purpose of Throwback Thursdays as well, is to
Yeah,
get some love back to the older decks. Cool.
yeah,
So
yeah. What are we doing next?
we
Yeah, sure.
are
Favorite cards.
looking, yes, favorite cards and
Cool. How
overall
many have you got, by the
impression.
way? I just counted mine up.
Well, this was again a difficult one where because I love this deck so much, that's always an indication when I've got two copies, means I really, really love it. I could have gone with nearly every card, so I laid down for the first thing I did, the first activity was to lay down all the ones I really, really like, and then look at shortening that a bit. So I have got 10 majors, so that's nearly half, isn't it? 4 cups, 5 wands, 5 swords, and 2 pentacles, and then just one least favorite card.
Oh, I thought 28. I've got 28 as well, and I've got one least
No,
favorite card as well. Yeah,
wow.
there we
So
go.
10, 14, no, 26 I've got.
Oh, okay.
10, 5, 5, 4, and 2. So you get to start and finish, and we'll
Right,
sandwich each
right.
other in the middle.
That's fine. Right, let me turn this back on. And so first up, I've got the full. Oops, let's zoom in a wee bit so we can actually see. So I just think the fool's quite quirky. His head's falling off, but he doesn't seem overly concerned about that fact. The cat, the cat just seems to be pointing him off the cliff. I don't know that. It's just, I don't know. It just makes me laugh. Um, yeah, I think that's that. That's probably going to be a common theme here. I think it's just because it's something slightly ridiculous about it, but in the best possible way, and it's just funny. So
Yeah.
you got
So I
the
was
Seeker too?
so I'd got the seeker as well, and then was just saying before we come on because it describes the scene as well. I might just read a little bit. It says, it's a beautiful and breathtaking vista. It's a sunny day, symbolic of a good start to the adventure, but there seems to be a small catch. The seeker has lost his head in the excitement, possibly due to overthinking the situation, so is not sure which way to go. He asks his cat, who is a symbol of instinct, the way forward. That's why the cat's pointing, but it's like, yeah, just keep going. But again, it's that sort of irreverent humor, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep. What's your next one?
My next one is the High Priestess.
Right.
Um, I
Got her.
love this card. Have you got the High Priest? Was the High Priestess
It's,
one of yours as well?
it's yeah. I've got the High Priestess as well. I think she's just cute. I'm loving the vibe. I'm loving her wee broomstick, but it's upside down.
Yeah, I love
She's
her
standing on her
antlers.
moon.
Yeah. Um, I was going to say this because there's quite a lot of text. I think the minors you get a lot less text for giving you the description of the card. Orange Cat is a familiar spirit who assists her on a journey and represents shape-shifting and the magical realm. And her broom and her staff is symbolic of being an elder and steward in the environment. Yeah, so I just think she's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's kind of a very wide-eyed as well. Like,
Yeah,
so she's seen some disturbing shit.
I think as well this deck, because there will be gendered cards, but one thing that stood out around this as well, very often Monica will use they them pronouns when describing some of the cards. So like for this one, the High Priestess is gendered as female, but that doesn't, apply to every card in the deck as well. So that was
Yeah, that's right.
quite novel at the beginning. And I forgot to mention the spiders that come down
Oh
the
yeah.
page, which is pretty cool. I think it's better to do it that way, isn't it? Where it comes all the way down the
Yeah.
page.
Yeah, so yeah, you're right. She does when she's writing. Like I think it particularly for some of the descriptions of some of the court cards. Um, she just describes some of them as being like kind of a gender neutral, and
Yeah,
I mean that's quite right in this day and age. That is, well, I think it's right that we should be representing everyone. But the thing that I like is that Monica did it before it was like in fashion. Do you know what I mean? She did it before it was the
yeah,
cool thing, before it was the done thing, and before it was expected. Monica did it because
yeah,
Monica wanted to do that, which makes it. And I'm not dissing anyone who does it nowadays, of course. I'm just saying, like, Monica did it because purely because she wanted to, not because she felt like she had to, um, in order to make her deck conform with what was expected. So that was
yeah. And
that was nice.
there's balance there as well. It's she hasn't replaced all the characters. There's just like a balance, and the people even if we can call them people, really, the beings in this card, are just they're fantasy, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're cartoon like. They're not trying to be anything other than what they are.
yeah. Um,
So what's your next one?
I had the magician as well, so I did. Um,
Okay.
I think he's rocking his wee pink lab coat. Um, I'm loving the what looks to be like a light bulb kind of a wire, filament, element, whatever you call it, coming out his head. So it's like he is the light bulb. He is that source of energy. Um, and he's making the four objects float in the air, which is pretty cool. Um, so yeah, and yeah, just the kind of the light that's emanating from him, and the sheer the electricity of it. I think it's quirky and it's humorous and it makes me laugh, but it's also really well thought out and really well done. And he's got three
Yeah.
legs actually. I've just realised he's got three legs.
Yeah. That those sorts of quirks happen, don't they?
Yeah,
I got the Empress next. I think this is a beautiful card. She's a tree spirit.
yeah,
And there's a whole ecosystem, isn't there, happening there.
mhm,
But I know, we're used to seeing the Empress really heavy bellied as well, pregnant Empress. But it says in here, the Empress is pictured as a dryad or a tree spirit who represents birth, life, death. She offers her body as a refuge for all life and represents all that is cyclical in nature. And that's so Gaia, she offers her body as a refuge for all life. As an earth mother, she is accepting and nurturing of all creatures and plants equally and invites flowers to bloom and bunnies to frolic at her feet. as readily as she welcomes the monsters and spiders of Shadowland to join her. The Empress is grounded and firm in her convictions and accepts responsibility for her actions and is objective about the actions of those around her because to her, everything is part of the natural order of things.
Yeah.
So beautifully written.
Yeah.
And I just
Yeah,
look at the little
lovely card.
bunnies. Yeah, brilliant.
Cool. My next one's The Lovers.
Oh, okay.
Just thought it was quite cute.
Yeah,
It's got the wee ghosty, the big scary monster, and they've got their wee love heart balloon that they're exchanging. It looks like it's the wee ghosty person that's giving the balloon to the monster. They're
yeah,
holding hands. It's just a nice wholesome card, I think. Very Beauty and the Beast.
yeah. I was going to say, I love the fact that they are two very different, different beings, but they've found love, haven't they?
Yeah,
Irrespective of their differences.
yeah, yeah. That's it.
So I'd got the
Um,
lovers as well, but I'd also got the Hierophant um, before that because I just thought the
mhm,
Hierophant was just such a cool card. Um, I love the fact that it's kind of it's like a half skull. Well, it's like a skull, but I think it's a beard. But it kind of gives that, when you just see like the top part of the skull. Again, I
yeah,
love the antlers. Very kind of shamanistic, but
yeah,
holding that orb as well of light and power.
yeah. Cool. Um, what's your next one?
The chariot.
Oh, yeah, same.
Itsy and Bitsy. You've got to be a certain age to remember Itsy and Bitsy. I doubt you will, Chris. But
I
there used to be a
don't
children's program. Do you?
know. I know the
Oh,
rhyme Itsy Bitsy Spider, but I don't know
oh,
Itsy
that's
and
Incy
Bitsy.
Wincy.
Oh, so it is. So it is.
Yeah. There was a program when we were kids called Itsy and well, I don't know if the program was called Itsy and Bitsy, but they have these two kind of puppets called Itsy and Bitsy. They were different colours, but they were just like that. Um, and I just love how she's riding them.
Yeah, yeah, same.
She's driven by
Same as.
she is driven by insight and higher powers, and trusts that she'll arrive at her destination, even if it proves to be a bit tricky. Keeping both feisty spiders on track and running in the same direction is no easy task, but her crown indicates her connection to spirit, and her wand helps her receive and give energy along the way. Her yellow jacket symbolizes the optimism and creativity of her journey. Adventure lies ahead. It's just the fact that she's thought of everything, She describes there's lots of red boots as well in this deck, and she refers
Yeah,
to that quite a lot. But even why she chooses a red coat, a yellow coat.
mm,
Um, but yeah, anybody else
yeah.
remember
Everything.
Itsy and Bitsy?
I think anyone's mentioned it.
No,
Everything. It
like
does feel very intentional, doesn't it? Like the deck, like everything seems to have been selected for a reason. There's nothing that was just there to look pretty or um. Yeah, David's saying the itsy bitsy spider climbed up the water
I always
spout.
thought it was Into Wincy Spider, but maybe that's where they got the names of the characters from the program. Then Itsy and Bitsy from Itsy Bitsy Spider.
I'm doubting myself. It was my gran used to sing it to us, but I can't quite remember.
Well, I mishear lyrics all the while anyway. Some of the things I come out with, poor young, every time you go away, you take a piece of meat with you.
I just heard a new one last night. Actually, I was in the shower, and do you know the old Rihanna song "Disturbia"?
Disturbia.
Yeah, it's an older song. It was out like, gosh, I want to say about 15 years ago. Um, but there's a line in it. It's the start of the second verse, I think, and she sings. I'm I'm pretty sure she's singing painting pictures on the wall, but I swear,
Right.
like, go and listen to it. It sounds like fanny pictures on the wall. So it does. Go and listen to it. You'll know what I'm talking about. That's what it sounds like she's singing. And it took me a while to have to listen to it and work out. I could have just Googled the lyrics, but I was in the shower. Um, it took me a while of thinking about it to think, what is she singing there? um, anyway, sorry, digress.
That's Itsy and Bitsy.
Right. They look more like octopi.
Do they?
Yeah. Um,
Paper Play, it was called. I never knew that. The program was called Paper Play. We're down a right rabbit hole here, aren't we?
My next card is strength. Have you got strength
Oh, and Trisha said it's Incy Wincy in New Zealand.
in New
Yeah, that's what
Zealand?
we said. Incy Wincy Spider. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, maybe that is what my grand sang. Don't know. Might just be getting mixed up.
Giselle says Incy Wincy is the Google poem.
Right, okay.
Okay. What's your next one? Sorry.
Strength. Strength.
Okay.
Um, I'm a bit of a sucker for a strength card where they're combined into one entity, like, like two sides of one entity. The Light
Yeah.
Seers does it. Bright Future Tarot does it. Um, it's just to me, it's a really nice depiction of the meaning of that card. So again, I like they've done it here. Kind of like two halves of one person. And even like when you look at the legs and the feet, um, we've got one half appears to be like what could be compared to like the lion, and then the other half is what could be compared to the maiden in the traditional strength card. But they're different aspects of the one person, and it's about the battle for control and all that. Um, so and like in addition to that, like, you've got one half is like lifting a weight, and the other one has got like this kind of it's like a cat. I think it's like a wee cat. Um, but it's like one's like kind of a tough and kind of a like the brawn, and the other one is like sweet and innocent. Um, It's just to me that is the strength card. It's like balancing all those things and having the wisdom to know when to use what particular type of strength it is that you've got. And I just think it's a really nice depiction.
Yeah. It is nice. I've got the Hermit. I love this. There's three cards in this deck that I just absolutely love, and this is one of three cards.
Right.
I just think this is a fantastic Hermit card. The lantern is there illuminating light, but it's shrouded. And it's just a reminder that the hermit needs to look inward. So even
Yeah.
though there are eyes drawn, they're just drawn on. He's completely shrouded. Um, but the illuminating light on the external is there too. But I just think it's quite a powerful, striking image. There's not a lot happening. It's just stood there, but beautiful. And I mean, what is there not to like? I have my little ghouls. It reminds me of that.
Nice.
Oh my.
What's your next one?
Let's have a look. Death.
Right, I've got one in between that, so I've got Justice.
Okay.
I just find that I think it's just the aesthetic of this one. I find it quite nice. You've got kind of like the tree is the kind of I suppose just the setting for it all. but it's like accommodating all these different kind of types of life. Do you know what I mean? You've got the eggs, you've got the newly hatched chick, and then you've got the kind of a adult. Um, so it's all of these different phases that are existing within the same ecosystem, or within the same habitat. Um, and the tree balances all of those different aspects. Kind of like how the justice system is supposed to, um, accommodate everyone and give everyone a fair and equal chance, or a equitable chance, whatever, however you is the right way to put it. But um, yeah, I think I think it just looks nice as well.
Yeah,
It's got
it
that kind of a
does.
scale aspect to it as well, just because of it looks like the tree's got two arms.
Yeah, so I mentioned Death Card. I just love this Death Card. I love the Baron, the death that the tree is bare. You've got this crow that's in skeletal form, but then holding, new life, a
Mm,
hatchling, to show that, death, life, it's cyclical. I think it encapsulates it really well. We've got the setting sun. It just screams a death card, but I just like the fact that there is this little waving.
yeah, yeah,
I think it's fantastic. Was that
yeah.
one of
It
yours
is
as
really good.
well?
It was, yeah. That was one of mine.
And the skull and crossbones look as well. Just love it.
Yeah,
The colours are nice.
yeah, yeah. She's kind of captured the colours of that setting sun really, really nicely. Is this
Mm,
watercolor? This deck? This looks
yeah,
like watercolor to me.
yeah.
Yeah, she's she's got a very good grasp of her tools, so she has like the of watercolor.
Are these linen
Um,
finish or just gloss? They're neither. They're matte. They're matte
yeah,
cardstock. There is
yeah,
a
kind of,
little bit of a soft sheen to them, but yeah, proper matte.
yeah, kind of a papery cardstock, aren't they?
Yeah.
What have we got next?
I have Temperance next.
Right, I'll let you go because
Love it. I just think it's brilliant. I love the look at the fire behind the fire and the water. Um, you know, very often we see. I mean, we are. Well, I don't know if we've got one foot in the water or not. It's certainly dipping its toes, but again, the red boots are there. But I just love this. It's this huge bat wings and the fiery flames behind and the water underneath. I think it's just a really nice temperance card.
yeah, yeah, that's pretty cool. Um, my next one's the tower.
Okay.
Um, I absolutely love this tower card. This is one of my favourite cards in the deck.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, 100%. I love just see this wee pink umbrella. It's
Yeah.
everything. Like it makes me laugh because it's like she's like this fucking umbrella cost me £5 at a Primark. I don't care if I'm falling from a building. I'm going to get my use out of it. But all joking aside, it's kind of a like the whole point in an umbrella is to face it up the way. Do you know what I mean? That's the use in it. So it's like our world's been turned upside down, and it's like yeah, usually you would have an umbrella above your head, but in this particular situation, that's actually not. Like everything's so warped that like nothing, nothing's quite right. And I
Mm.
think that when the lightning hits the tower, that kind of is that's the atmosphere that we have to negotiate. So I think it's actually really cool from a symbolic point of view, as well as I find it really funny. Giselle loves the upside down umbrella too.
What have you got
Um,
next?
got the moon next.
Same. Yeah. And for Giselle, doesn't that look like your Mad Witch? Reminds me of Giselle's Mad Witch. This, I love it. I love how she's walking the crustacean on a lead.
Yeah, on a lead. Yeah, that was
The
why I
little
picked it.
homes, the little homestead in the distance looks like been out for a walk. I think looking at the book, it says something about this is an illusion. You know, seeing the wolf in the moon to show that in half light things aren't as they appear. I'm still on temperance. Yeah, the wolf or dog. So she's either the wolf or dog symbolizes the inability to discern clearly in the dark. Oh, and then it says she's going to visit her grandmother in the woods when she noticed the moons looked like a wolf, and how the moonlight can deceive us. Yeah, taking the crustacean out for a bit of an exercise under the full moon. The crustacean has a way of sudden growth spurts under the full moon and represents our yearning for spiritual growth and knowledge. Never even realised that. I just suppose it is quite large, but that's my majors done. What do you like about the moon? Was it the same things or?
It was the same. I purely picked it because she's got a lead on her wee lobster, and she's taking it for a walk. I just thought it was funny. But yeah, I'm the same. That's the majors done for me as well.
Cool.
So what suit you want to do first?
Cups.
Okay.
That cool with you?
Yep.
And I'll read from these ones because in the minors you just get a sentence or two on the card description. And I think it's quite cool. But they're not in the order, my order. Okay. How many have you got for cups? I've got 4.
I've got 4 also.
Oh, I wonder if it's the same 4.
I wonder, it may well be. My first one is the ace.
Oh.
Oh no, then.
No.
Again, it just makes me chuckle. I think it does everything that an ace of cups needs to do. I love that it's a wee teacup. So this divine godly hand is handing you a wee teacup and saucer. I find that quite funny. Something funny about the fish has got a wee I can't say that word. A wee cigarette in his mouth or a wee cigar. Apologies for the word I nearly used there. In the UK, that's not really used that prominently as a derogatory word. And he's got a wee party hat on. I mean, how cute is that? I mean, he's just come out of the water.
Adorable.
Like, how's he managing to smoke his cigarette? Like, I just think it's funny.
So mine is the 2 of cups, my first one.
Right.
I think it's adorable for 2 of cups. It says, these 2 happy seahorse creatures are captivated with one another and are sharing time and a fancy cocktail together. They represent a happy business or personal partnership. It just cracks me up. It's almost like a cartoon, isn't it? When you show 2 people kissing in a cartoon.
Yeah, it's cute. What's your next one? Because I skip a few.
4.
Right.
I really like 4. I think it's quite simple. It's a cat dreaming of cups, dreaming of a cat, dreaming of cups, dreaming of a cat, dreaming of cups. Do you know what I mean? It's that sort of endless cycle. In it, she says,
Yeah.
a very sleepy cat is dreaming of cups, dreaming of a cat, dreaming of cups, dreaming of a cat, dreaming of cups. The dreaming cat is symbolic of emotional boredom and repetition.
Yeah, it makes me think of self-absorption as well, because it's like he's dreaming of himself. He's dreaming of exactly his exact circumstances. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like,
I, ge-
uh,
I, I was gonna say, I guess if she's saying, that sort of, if somebody is in this perpetual rut of
yeah,
boredom and everything they're doing is repetition, that is what
yeah,
you're going to dream about, isn't it? Because you're not
yeah.
stimulated
Oh,
by anything
absolutely,
else. I can remember I
absolutely.
used to work at a motorway service station, and there used to be this. It sounds like when I say a fridge, but it filled a whole wall, and this fridge just took all shift to fill, putting all the cans of pops, all the bottles in, all the sandwiches, everything. He just got it nice. He finished at one end, he had to start at the other again because people just came in to pull drinks all the time. And I used to dream. I used to finish a shift and I used to dream all night about filling this fridge. And I did that 5 days a week for 10 years.
Oh gosh.
And it was just like soul destroying. Uh, yeah, all through my 20s.
Oh dear. Well, that sounds riveting.
But that, but that boredom and repetition, you're trapped in that, and therefore
Yeah,
your dreams are going to replicate that.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
I get you.
he's
Um,
Scottish and doesn't like whiskey.
what's that? Sorry.
He's Scottish and doesn't like whiskey.
Oh, David. Yeah, I'm not really a big whiskey fan either, actually, and I'm Scottish too. Um, I did have a wee whiskey at the Eurovision, but to be fair, that was because it was the only thing I had in the cupboard. Um,
I
but
think
yeah.
I'd need whiskey to get through Eurovision.
Oh, come on! Don't be slagging off the Eurovision.
Dross.
Oh, well, let's move swiftly on to something a bit more happy. How about the Six of Cups? Um, I just think they're having a wee tea party. I love the pink wallpaper and the green carpet. I think the colours are really nicely done. Um, yeah, I don't really have any deep reason for why I like this card. I just like it aesthetically.
I really like the sentiment. It says, "This is a happy memory of one of the best tea parties that this girl had with a few close childhood friends. This tea party represents nostalgia about the past." I think that's really nice, isn't it? A happy, because when you think of Six of Cups, it's that those kind of happy memories, isn't it? And I think we all remember
Yeah,
like childhood tea parties, or when you could have your friends over, or stay for tea and that sort of thing.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
sweet.
definitely.
I had the one before that. I had the
Oh,
Five of Cups. Um, I just love this image for the Five of Cups. This lagoon creature stands on the banks of an urban waterway, saddened by what he sees. The upright tins on the beach represent past successes and the tip cans failures. I mean, it's very, RWS, isn't it? But um, look at his feet. Creature from the
yeah.
Black Lagoon.
From the Black Lagoon, but is that not like the Thames or something that we see? Or it looks like the Thames anyway.
Yeah.
It looks like a river, like a city river. um, my next one is the next one in the sequence. It's the seven. Um,
Okay.
reminds me of Hermione. Um, but aside from that, I
Does look
think
like
for
Hermione.
me, yeah, I think the Seven of Cups is like quite often it's when you're overwhelmed with the amount of choice. Do you know what I mean? To a point where you completely lose your ability. It's like a analysis paralysis type thing. You lose your ability to actually choose something because of the overwhelm. And usually when we see Seven of Cups cards, there's not very many artists that depict it where we see that overwhelm in the person's face, but she looks absolutely scunnered, so she does. She looks overwhelmed and she looks like she's got zero fucks left. So I quite like how it's depicted. I think it's quite cool.
My
Yeah,
next
so
one is the
fun.
8. This, I think, is such a powerful card, powerful message. So here you've got somebody walking off towards the sunset, towards the light. It was a mummy because you see all the bandages that are falling away, and then you've got this skeleton figure. But what they're walking away from is the potions and medicines to keep people alive. You know, we take medicines and potions for our overall health and well-being to live longer and stay well, but they no longer serve. You know, no earthly need. No earthly need. You know what I mean? You know that sort of
Yeah,
uh, it no longer serves a purpose, and they're just
yeah,
walking away, and the mummification bandages all coming off. I just think
yeah,
it's quite a powerful image.
yeah. It's quite a cute card. Um, my last one is the 10. I just love the colours. I just think not just like so it's like 10 paint kind of a cans that are stacked, but we can see they've all been used. Do you know what I mean? Every single can is opened and it's been used. Um, and it just has this kind of a feeling of someone who has lived life to the fullest. They're totally fulfilled. You know, they've built all these connections with the people around about them, and we see the kind of the paint all mixing in and all dripping down to form this beautiful kind of a rainbow type effect. Um, so what started off as 10 separate cans, it's been used to within an inch of its life, and it's all combining and to make something really really pretty. Um, so I just it's a lovely colour just at a glance. It's a beautiful card just because of the colours. So yeah, I love this card.
So I may as well say while we're on it, so this is the one that's my least favorite card.
Really
Yeah, I just
interesting.
I
Why?
it just fit. I know there's the little crab, but it just feels like it's out of kilter with the rest of the deck, with all these characters and all these kind of expressions, and you just get 10 pots of paint. And yeah, it's pretty, and I like what you said about all the colours merging together, but I'm like, 10 pots, it's almost like a pit card in a fully illustrated deck. I can't tell how
Right.
you're looking at
Okay.
me. You're too
No,
little.
I mean to each their own. I mean to me it's I think your 5 of cups that you held up. So rather than having like cups spilled, it's got tubes of paint. Um, so to me it's kind of in keeping with yeah, yeah it has. So um, it's got like tubes of paint that have been like spilled. So you can kind of continue in that theme of paint and artistry, which is one of the ways to interpret the cup suit. Um, and yeah, like I say, because they're all, see if it was just like kind of tins that hadn't been opened that were just stacked, then yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and
But
I get that it's representing, you know, the 10 of chords, the 10 of cups that we're used to seeing in terms of the rainbow and the colours, but I think because it's characterless, it just I just thought, oh, this seems a bit out of. Is the crab holding a paintbrush?
yeah,
Yes,
yes,
and it's quite hard to see, but yeah,
there it's there. You can see it
yeah,
quite well there.
yeah.
Okay, interesting. So what suit do you want to do next?
Wands.
Okay,
You know my
I've
order by
got
now.
I've got 4 wands cards. Will I start?
Yeah,
I'm not sure if you froze there. I've got the Ace of Wands.
I have two.
I love. Oh, good. Um, I love the kind of a I don't- witchy hand is probably not the right thing to say. But it's like a kind of a crone type hand. You know, it's a gnarled hand. It's and then the flames as well. I love the kind of the flames coming out of it. Um, I just think it's quite a cool scene.
Yeah. I really like that she's this, like you said, there's this hand with flames, but she's lighting a match as well. And in the book it says a burning hand rises out the flames to offer warmth and energy to the person seated on their palm, representing support and a helping hand when beginning a new venture. The little person lights a match in response, symbolizing the spark of intent and action that begins each journey. So that's really nice.
Yeah. I skipped quite a fair few to get to my next one, so I don't know if you want to go next, Simon.
Well, I've got the two. Um, Again, it's this ghost holding. There's this crystal ball. A ghost holding two candles. It says these symbolize possible future directions, and peering into a crystal ball, seeking answers about the future. I just really liked it. It almost
Yeah,
makes like a love heart as well, doesn't it? The
yeah,
light
okay.
from the flames.
Yeah, that's true. What have you got next?
7.
Oh, that's my next one.
Yeah, I love it. I love the writing about 7 as well.
What did she say about it?
Look at that. Again, the red boots. She says, the witch stands with her familiar on top of a mound, and she is using her wand to defend herself against a faceless crowd. She represents anyone who has stood apart from the crowd mentally, yet refuses to be bullied. The cat represents an ally.
That's quite cool,
Sorry,
actually. 'Cause that,
crowd mentality. That didn't make sense. I was like, mentally. Crowd mentality. So she represents anyone
right,
who has stood apart from crowd mentality, yet refuses to be bullied. The cat represents an ally. And look at him.
yeah, that's nice. I actually see when I look at the card, it looks to me as though she's got her back to us, and it looks like she's about to dip her wand in at the volcano.
Yeah, yeah, but
Um,
she's facing forward with her hair, isn't she? And because her hand is outstretched,
yeah,
and it looks like her shoes are pointing towards us.
yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean that's how it's described in the book as well. It's just the way that I see it when I look at it.
Yeah,
It was
and the
something
faceless
slightly
crowd are
different.
these holding the ones at the bottom, aren't they?
Yeah, aye, that's it. Yeah, so
Yeah,
I suppose it's quite traditional, isn't it? It's quite a traditional seven
yeah,
of wands. But I just it's
yeah,
I, the
absolutely.
reason I like it is because I do see something a wee bit different with it. I see someone who's about to dip their wand into the volcano, so like she's got a lot of fight in her. But for me, this there's a wee bit of like be careful how you're going about this type thing. Um, like your intentions are great, but just watch your method. Because you might make this volcano explode, and it might end up a worse situation than when it started. So yeah, 7 of Wands. I've then got the 8 after that.
Okay.
Um, I just think it's quite cool. She's obviously using her magic to direct these broomsticks that are flying through the air. So quite often with the 8 of Wands, we just see 8 wands flying through the air, and we think swiftness, movement. For me, the thing that's always been important about in the Smith Way and the 8 of Wands is the direction. They're all perfectly parallel to each other, and it's the discipline and the intention that's had to be put behind that in order to get them flying in that same direction and going towards that particular target. There's a lot that's gone into that, and that takes a really strong, disciplined, practice to be able to do that. And we kind of see it from a slightly different point of view here. We see the witch, or well, yeah, she's a wee witch, and she's sending those broomsticks all out, all with purpose and intention, each and every single one. And it's cute because the wee cat's got its own wee wand, and it's doing its thing as well. So yeah, I love this card.
Cool. My next one is the Page. Have you got anything before the Page?
No.
Okay. Love the Page. Look at the roots. And when I've used this deck in the past, I've always kind of looked at it as someone who is really, really grounded. But actually, the book talks about the adolescent Page of Wands is just learning how to move forward, which will be quite a challenge, wouldn't it? Although known for fiery disposition, he has strong roots. This page represents the beginning of a passionate quest. But I just love the earthiness of this card. That's why I chose it as one of my favourites.
Yeah. I've got the Knight.
Have you? I almost went for the
Yeah.
Knight. It was one that I put back. It is brilliant.
Yeah, I like it's very fiery. I love how fiery it is, and it almost looks. I know it's not because he's got his hair here, but it kind of looks like the fire is part of his hair. And I love that he's got the rose in his mouth as well, um, like like a pure romantic. Um, the thing is a wee bit different for the Knight of Wands. We might more associate the romantic as the Knight of Cups, but wands are about passion and charisma and all that kind of a thing as well. So it does make sense.
Mm,
So yeah, I like this one.
yeah. And I've got the Queen. In fact, I think, yeah, this is the only suit where I've chose courts, and there's two. I
Right.
love the Queen in this. It says the Queen of Wands radiates warmth wherever she goes. Her size and demeanor, because she's huge, though, are symbolic of her self-consciousness about her power. Her cat is symbolic of independence, and her staff of wisdom. Again, it's somebody else where the hair is covering the front of. In fact,
Yeah.
what was that film? Was it The Ring? Where she has
There
hair
was
in
the
front.
Ring and the Grudge as well.
The Grudge, that was it. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah. Have you got any more ones?
Yep. Nope, that was my last one. Swords next, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So, my first one is the Three of Swords.
Okay.
So he's
Dude.
playing it cool. We see the kind of the heart with the 3 needles piercing it. But he's got his sunglasses on. He's not letting anyone see that it's bothering him. So yeah, like we can kind of see the usual difficulties, the usual kind of a clash that we get with the Three of Swords. But we also kind of get this sense of like moving past the pain in order to learn the lessons that come with it. So I think it's quite a nice Three of Swords. And incidentally, I got a new deck yesterday, and that also shows the Three of Swords wearing sunglasses. Weirdly,
Really? What
so
was that one?
yeah, I don't know if you'll have
Which deck?
heard of it. It's Explorer of the Soul,
Oh no, I
tarot
haven't.
deck by Angie Bannicky. Um,
Okay.
so I've done a walkthrough, so I have, but it's not I've not released it yet. Probably release it in the next few days. What's your next one?
The 4
Oh,
with
I
the
had 4 as
skeleton
well.
resting in the hammock. I just love it. We've got the setting sun. But it says here a skeleton rests in his sword hammock in the final hours of twilight. He dozes peacefully under the setting sun just long enough to relinquish his worries about life's psychological challenges and strains. The skeleton is symbolic of our basic structure and support, and a reminder that without rest we will perish.
Yeah, I quite like the irony that the traditional Four of Swords has a coffin in it, and a
Mm,
coffin is where you will generally find a skeleton.
yeah,
And you don't have a skeleton in
at
that
some
card, but in this
stage.
card we do have a skeleton. But he's not
Yeah.
he's not like in some dingy coffin. He's chilling in a hammock, where I love enjoying a lovely sunset. I think it's quite cool.
Yeah.
What's next on your list?
6. Love this. So we've got the
I
6 of
nearly picked that
swords.
one.
Did you? But look, it's
Mm.
actually this kind of Loch Ness type creature actually ferry them across those troubled
Yeah,
waters to a calmer shore. I think it's really
yeah,
cool. It says here the navigator of the Shadowland ferry is taking passengers to the other side. The water dragon is assisting with the trip and symbolizes collaboration between people and the environment, as well as hidden emotional issues that are affecting your decision.
yeah. It's going to be a bit of a bumpy ride though, riding on the back of a dragon. Um, my next one's the 9. Have you got anything before that?
Gosh, how can you skip it? You know, and I said there's 3 cards that I love. This is my
Oh, okay.
second of the 3. I think it's brilliant. I love this. And then you'll
Right.
see this creature, this puppet again. But when you think of the 7 of Swords, I love this image. It says this little puppet is running away with the pins before he gets stuck with them. A smart strategist, he knows how to act proactively to avoid confrontation. But he's like just dumbfounded. Look,
Yeah. Okay. It's cute. It's nice. I think it's very
it's
traditional.
nice.
Um,
Yeah,
it
it is. But
it
there's a
just reminds
twist,
me
isn't
of
there?
yeah, a wee bit.
The traditional with a twist.
Yeah. I think I know what your third card that you really like in it is, but I'm going to wait and see.
Which
I think I
suit
know
is it
what it
in?
is though.
Is it in this one?
No, the Pentacles. I think I've got it as well. Um, but yeah, so I've got the 9. Again, I think these wee spiders are quite cool. Um, again, it's just the look on his wee face. Um, he's just like, holy shit, what are all these spiders all about? Um, yeah, I don't know, I just like it.
And then I've got the 10,
Yeah,
which is a continuation, which I quite like. You know, we've just seen this one where he's running away and taking the pins, and now we have the 10, and then it says this little puppet has been the target of anger and has been stuck with 10 pins. For now, it's game over. And again, the 10 of Swords, again, it's very traditional, but I love how it's the
yeah,
continuation from the earlier card. It's really sad. I mean, look.
Yeah, I've got the page.
Oh yeah,
The
she's
reason that I was
levitating.
actually that's it. Yeah, that's kind of the reason why I picked it, because it's that's intentional. Well, obviously it's intentional, but she says that it's I think I can't remember exactly what she says, but it's something to do with like it's her ideas, or the the strength of the willpower, or the strength of her mind, or something, or her intellect that's taking her up into the air. And I thought that was pretty cool. And we see the winds kind of blowing her hair, so we get that kind of an airy element to it. Um, the fact that the trees are almost getting uprooted, it's that windy. So we have that usual, our Page of Swords is normally like swinging his sword in the wind. Um, yeah, and the kind of the way the sun's depicted behind the clouds as well, I think is really beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yup.
I just have one left.
Oh, right, okay. One card or one in the swords?
One card.
Oh, okay. So I think I know what it is, and I think I've got a few before it. In fact, I've
Okay.
got one before it, and then a few after. So I've got 5 cards in the Pentacles. I've got the Ace. Um, I just generally I like how the aces are depicted in this deck. I love the hand coming up through the ground. I love that the ace he is holding. Almost looks like a crystal ball in this card, and I think that's quite cool. So yeah, I love this. The next one I think is the one that's one of your favourites. So do you want to show it first? Yeah, I
It's
knew
my
it.
favorite card in the whole deck. I
Yeah,
absolutely love this. I've been obsessed with Bigfoot, Sasquatch, the hairy man, whatever, he comes under all different names. Fascinated me as a kid. Um, Early memories and playing games, and and used to do like role play, and I loved anything to do with Bigfoot. But I love this image, particularly when you think of the Five of Pentacles in that sense of being outside, missing out on something, feeling alone. And you've got him looking on here, and he's conflicted because he wants to be part of this family's camping trip in front of the campfire, roasting marshmallows. He wants to be part of it, and all he can do is look on because he's somebody that's, almost like a creature that is nobody knows if he's real or not. It's a bit of an enigma. And if he did approach, what would his instinct be? Would it be to eat them? Would they be terrified of him? So all he can do is look on from a distance with that sense of longing to
yeah,
belong. And I just think it's such a incredible card. I love it. Best card in the deck
yeah,
for me.
yeah. I I agree with everything you said. I think what's nice as well is like if you look closely at the figures that are across the way, like some of them they look as though they're looking across back at him. Do you know what I mean? So you get this idea of like there's the potential for an olive branch there. There's the potential for them to reach out to each other, for someone to reach out to him,
Mm,
where he maybe won't feel so lonely. Um, I suppose it's just a reminder that we've all got that power when we see someone being excluded. Um, it's on each and every one of us. Like I think we kind of get into the headset of oh, look, someone else will do it, or someone else will take that uncomfortable step. But the truth of the matter is, it's everyone's responsibility to look after
mm.
the people around about us, I guess. So I think it's quite a a deep card, quite a powerful card.
I
Um,
agree.
so I'll speed through the rest. The 7 of Pentacles, just because it reminds me of Little Shop of Horrors. It's quite cool. I had the 10. I seem to be a bit of a sucker for the tree cards in this. But yeah, I just love the wee tree's got eyes and he's got his 10 stars hanging from the tree. And also because we're used to seeing like the 10 pentacles being arranged in the order of the sphere of the tree of life. And 10 of Pentacles cards. This obviously doesn't do that, but it does show them as being part of a tree. And then finally, the Knight of Pentacles, because he's riding his snail. And the Knight, I beg your pardon, the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is notoriously slow moving and very careful and considered about everything that they do, and probably does tend to do things at a snail's pace for that reason. So I think this is quite fitting for the Knight of Pentacles, as that his steed would be a snail.
Cool.
So yeah, that's all my favourites. You've talked about your least favourite.
Yeah.
So I've
What's
just
yours?
got one.
Oh, I know yours.
Yeah, we talked about it before we
Yeah.
before we went live. Excuse me. Mine's is the discretion card. It's nothing to do with the artwork or anything like that. I just don't see discretion as having anything to do with judgment, like the how I would typically interpret the judgment card. I think that it's completely different. They're separate things, to be honest, separate and distinct. So I just whilst I wouldn't necessarily have an issue with it if it was an extra card. Well, I would, because I don't use extra cards in my decks. But I think that it's like you've taken something out and replaced it with something else. It's like taking out I don't know, the Two of Cups and replacing it with a card that's about saving up your money. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of what it feels like. So, and she gives a good description of what the interpretation is intended to be of this card, and I just don't
But
think it's
you were
anything to do
still
with
like, yeah,
judgment.
so just to give you Monica's insight. So under the title, it says, I can see from a higher perspective that discretion represents freedom. The card. This wise owl is becoming reborn as she flies over her environment, gaining perspective on how she is judged and how she can use discretion instead. Her red boots represent freedom of choice. But then it does use the word, because we talked about perhaps the word discernment might have been better, didn't we? And then actually a bit further down under keywords, it says epiphany, resurrection, rebirth, discernment, reflection, perspective, ethics, and wisdom.
Yeah, see, epiphany and resurrection to me are what the judgment card is about. But that's nothing to do with what she's doing with this card. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's describing, like, discretion to me can mean actually one of two things. It can mean like discernment, so at your discretion, use your discretion, use your discernment to decide what's best for you, for example. But also like discretion as in keeping things discreet, keeping things kind of a secret. That is a possible interpretation of discretion. Yeah, but for me, the judgment or awake, like, I'm not against it being renamed as long as it makes sense. So often I've seen it being changed to awakening. That makes sense. I think judgment is about the being unplugged from the matrix, or being set free from Plato's cave. What you've experienced things in one particular way, and now you're being hit with the full whack of it. Do you know what I mean? Now you're experiencing it as it's meant to be experienced. I just don't see how that relates to discretion, but it's not like it's still a deck I enjoy using. I can interpret the discretion card when it comes up, but yeah, that's my only thing with it.
Cool. So, any final thoughts or observations before we close? I mean, for me,
Um,
I can't speak highly enough. You know, everything about it. I love, like you said earlier, the production quality is great. I love the artwork. Monica, as I said when I was talked about her deck the other day, when I was doing my top 10 Oracle decks, that and I did Show Between the Worlds. She can do no wrong. I think she's so talented as an artist, but also as a writer. And I just love it. I just love the deck. It's like I said, it's a good all rounder. Yeah, there's bowing of the cards, but that's a small, small kind of inconvenience, really. But yeah, I think it's
yeah,
great.
yeah, I agree. I think it's quirky, it's funny, comical. But it's, like we said with the Five of Pentacles and with some other cards, it does go. Excuse me, I beg your pardon. Sorry, I'm recovering from a bit of a cough. Um, I think that it goes really deep, and there are cards in this deck that have made me think differently about particular cards in the tarot in a really good way. So it's a deck that I'm absolutely like. It's enriching my tarot practice. So I'm glad that I've got it. And I think that it's a deck that I would recommend to anyone. Like I say, if for nothing else, just for the book.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
love it.
I agree with Sonique, a deck I never want to be without. And that's when I feel that way about a deck, I never want to be without this deck. That's why I always buy a backup just in case they go out of print, something happens to them, and you just think, well, then I've got a spare.
Yeah.
So next month we're going to be looking at Tower of the Abyss, which is over 3 years old now, or 3 years old.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to doing that. What would be the date of that then for the first Thursday of the month? It will be the
Uh,
4th of
right.
July. 4th of
Oh,
July.
4th of
Why did that?
July. Yeah.
Oh, General Election Day,
Yeah, and
Independence Day.
yeah,
We might not
yeah.
have many people here
True.
on
Do you want to
Independence
do the
Day.
next one? Do you want to do the next Thursday after that?
Should we go for the 11th?
I'm just thinking if we've got a general election happening in the UK and the US have got Independence Day, then
Yeah,
more
we'll
people
go
might
for
be
the
able to
11th
enjoy it.
then. Yeah,
Aye,
we'll go for the
because
11th.
it's an important deck. This is one of my favourite decks. So I want to do it
Yeah,
justice.
yeah. Okay, so we'll do
Cool.
the 11th. All right. Thank
Great.
you everyone for being here. Been great to hang out. Thank you, Chris. If you just we'll just stay on at the end and I'll say ta to you properly. But
Perfect.
have you got anything coming up on your channel before we go that you want to
Yeah, I
highlight?
do. So you highlighted a comment from the lovely Marion K. Taro just a couple of moments ago. Um, next week, next Thursday, I've got Marion and Chris Butler coming live with me, and we're actually simulcasting to all three of our channels, I think. So I'm excited for that. That's going to be really good, and no doubt it's going to be an absolute carnage. Because well, all three of us. Do you know what I mean? There's no one sensible like you, Simon, to keep things in line. So
Sensible.
but, yeah, that's that. So we'll see how that goes. It's going to be great fun. So definitely check that out. And I've also got like I said, I've recently acquired this deck, which is the Explorer of the Soul Tarot Deck and Guidebook. Um, it was created by Angie Bannicky, who some people might know. She's a really famous tarot reader over in LA. So I've got a walkthrough of that that will be released shortly in the next day or so. So yeah, that's what I've got planned. What about you? Have you got anything coming up? Oh, you have.
Oh, I've got quite a few. Well, yeah. So Saturday, Cheryl and I are doing our third spotlight, our monthly spotlight on new UK releases. So hopefully the decks will arrive tomorrow so that we can do that, and hopefully Cheryl will be well enough. But yeah, that's happening Saturday, and then Sunday, I'm a guest on Ramon's channel. Ramon is starting to do some lives, and is asked if he can interview me. So I'm not quite
Nice.
sure what else there is to know about me, but he shared some questions, and they're actually really, because he's like that, you know, he's very very clever, and it's things that have perhaps not been asked before as well. So I was like,
Right.
actually, that's quite good. So yeah, so Hermit's Cave Saturday with Cheryl for Spotlight, and then Sunday on Moon Scarab, which is Ramon's channel, where I'll be interviewed. So if you're not subscribed to Ramon, head over to Moon Scarab. He's already put the live up, so you can click remind me, and then and I'll put it in the Hermit's Cave Facebook group as well. So yeah, that's happening this weekend. Busy.
Sounds great. Well, I can't wait to
All
see
right
you
then,
and
everyone.
Cheryl and then you and Ramon.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. All right, see everybody later. Bye.
See you later, guys. Bye bye.